subscribe, just interact with this video in some way, shape, or form. That will help me beat the YouTube algorithm. Then next big thing, if you're also new here, my husband and I recently bought a cabin. So we are allowing people to rent that out. I will have that linked down below. It is in the mountains of North Georgia. So if you live nearby, definitely go check that out. And then last, but definitely not least, some exciting news is this week I will have a new Patreon video up every single day. And that is just a thank you for reaching 16,000 subscribers. So thank you to each and every one of you. So there should already be one up for Monday and then one for today, Tuesday as well. So go check that out. There will also be one up Wednesday, Thursday, and on Friday. So that will also be linked down below if you are interested in checking those Patreon videos out. Alright, and then I am really trying to film some other content for you guys, as I know true crime does not always work for everyone. So if you have any ideas of things you would like to see, any favorite trigger words, things like that, please let me know in those comments. But let's go ahead and dive into today's case. This is a more historical case, which I always find these types of cases very interesting. So today we are going to be discussing the Bennington Triangle. So the Bennington Triangle is a phrase that was coined by Joseph A. Citro, and he is an American author and folklorist who researched about strange happenings up in New England, specifically in the Vermont area. Now, the Bennington Triangle is an area in southwestern Vermont where several people inexplicably disappeared, and these disappearances occurred between the years 1945 and 1950. Now the triangle centers around Glastonbury Mountain, which is located in Bennington County, Vermont, and it is in the Green Mountain National Forest. Glastonbury Mountain is about 2 hours northeast of Albany, New York. Now, I believe the Appalachian Trail crosses over this mountain in Vermont, and so it's kind of at the northernmost kind of area of the Appalachian Trail. Now, there is a lot of folklore that surrounds this area, and supposedly there is even a man-eating rock near Glastonbury Mountain. Now, apparently Native such a short time span. I would highly recommend doing some research on this area yourself as well. Alright, so now we are going to be talking about the 5 people that did go missing in this Bennington Triangle. Now, these disappearances, they begin in the 7. And this was because Vermont realized they needed their own agency to help solve any cases that would be similar to Paula's. Now the police continued to look into Paula's case, and at one point in time, they believed a man named Fred Cadet was possibly a person of interest in Paula's disappearance. However, this was never officially proven. Nothing was ever found related to Paula's disappearance, but it was suspected that Fred saw Paula pass by his house as she was on her way to the trail, and he ended up going and heading off in her direction after getting into an argument with his girlfriend. Fred supposedly told 2 others he knew where Paula's remains were buried. However, he eventually told the police he was lying about this and messing around with friends. No evidence has ever been found related to Paula's disappearance, and her case remains a mystery to this day. Now we're going to fast forward 3 years to the exact day from when Paula went missing, and a man named James Tedford went missing on December the 1st in the year 1949. Now James was officially last seen in St. Albans, where he had been visiting some relatives. He was walked to the bus stop there and was last seen getting onto the bus. James was still aboard the bus at the last stop before Bennington, Vermont, when suddenly he up and vanished. When the bus driver reached the last stop at Bennington, James was no longer there. However, his belongings were still in the luggage rack, along with a bus card in the seat. Now, James was not justice that they deserve in these cases. I wish we had answers today, and I hope sooner rather than later that some of these unsolved cases will become solved. I would love to know your thoughts on these cases as well. Thank you guys so much for watching,